world of glamour, beauty, and fame has always had its dark side. But some stories are far more disturbing than others. This is the case of Kristina Joksimovic, a finalist in the Miss Switzerland pageant, whose life came to a tragic and unimaginable end. Her promising future was cut short in the most horrific way by the person she trusted most, her husband. This is her story. Kristina Joksimovic, a beautiful and ambitious young woman, had the world at her feet. As a finalist in the prestigious Miss Switzerland beauty pageant, she was known for her grace, intelligence, and charm. Born in Zurich, Switzerland, Kristina's dream was to make a mark in the fashion industry, and she was well on her way to becoming a household name. But behind the glittering facade of the beauty industry, Kristina's personal life was far from picture-perfect. Beneath her composed exterior, a toxic relationship was brewing, one that would eventually end in her gruesome death. Kristina had been married to her husband for several years. To the outside world, they appeared to be a loving couple, but friends and family knew that their relationship had its issues. Her husband, Thomas, was known to have a possessive and controlling nature. As Kristina's fame began to grow, Thomas became increasingly jealous. His obsession with controlling Kristina grew stronger by the day, culminating in numerous fights and disagreements. But no one could have predicted the depths of his rage. It was a cold evening in Zurich when the unthinkable happened. Kristina and Thomas had an argument, this one worse than any they'd had before. Witnesses from the apartment complex reported hearing raised voices, followed by a chilling silence. In a fit of rage, Thomas strangled Kristina, ending her life in a moment of pure fury. But what he did next shocked even the most seasoned investigators. After murdering his wife, Thomas did something that defies logic and humanity. In a gruesome attempt to cover up his crime, he used a blender to puree her remains. Investigators later described the scene as one of the most disturbing crime scenes they had ever encountered. It was only after neighbors reported a foul smell coming from the apartment that police were called to investigate. What they found would haunt them forever. When police arrived at the apartment, they immediately knew something was wrong. The smell of decay hung thick in the air, and the apartment was eerily silent. After a brief search, they found what remained. Thomas was taken into custody, and during his interrogation, he confessed to the horrific crime. He claimed that he had lost control during their argument, but this did little to explain the monstrous actions that followed. The trial of Thomas gripped the nation. Media outlets across Switzerland and beyond covered every detail of the case as people struggled to comprehend how someone could commit such a brutal act against the person they were supposed to love. Thomas showed little emotion throughout the trial, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. His defense team tried to argue that he had acted in a moment of insanity, but the prosecution painted a much darker picture, one of a man who had been controlling and abusive for years. In the end, the jury found Thomas guilty of murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. But for many, the sentence didn't feel like enough. Kristina, friends and family were left with a lifetime of grief, while the public struggled to come to terms with the horrific details of the crime. For the family of Kristina, no sentence could ever bring her back. The glamorous beauty queen, whose life was full of promise, had been taken away in the most horrific way possible. Kristina's tragic death serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of domestic abuse, even in relationships that seem perfect from the outside. Her life, once filled with beauty, fame, and promise, was cut short by the one person she thought she could trust. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please seek help immediately. No one should suffer in silence. Thank you for watching this episode of Dark Files Diary. If you found this story as chilling and heartbreaking as we did, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more true crime stories that reveal the darkest sides of humanity. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.